Alright, good morning guys. No facial today on this video. I didn't really feel like it was beneficial to sit here and watch me while I still wake up. So we'll just go to the charts here. I'm going to look at Bitcoin real quick. Bitcoin continues to hold a lower trend line and has yet to even come back and really test it. I'm looking at, so we'll use a ray marker here, trend lines ray. Go to the lowest point, and basically there's one here, right here. You're never going to see that one again, most likely. There's one here, and there's one here. That's pretty much the one we're going to look at right in there. We're going to look in that range. I do not foresee it coming down any lower than this. This basically gives our parabolic lines for what's to come. It gives us our signal. So what do I mean by parabolic lines? So if I come back here to 19,000, all right, so every time it creates a low, once those, so this one, you can see how it was here, and then it came down, okay? That's not a parabolic symbol, okay? So it came here, all right? Then we'll continue to use that same point. So then it created a line here. Get it right in here. It's hard to move further apart. Let's see, another one right in there. So I didn't choose this back point of the 20,000 breakthrough. I chose up here, but for all intensive purposes, you can still understand what I'm saying. So as these lines continue to walk themselves up the chart, now our low is actually right here for this one. So then we'll have a low somewhere in here. I'm going to guess it's going to be right about there because of this stuff going on. All right, that gives us a pretty good idea of what it could do. It could come back down and retest some things here. So I'm on the weekly chart. So every single one of these is a week. So I'll go to the daily. And I'm going to zoom back to get my lines to correct up because they like to move around on here because I got so much going on. All right. So I'll zoom in here a little bit. We can see these trend lines start to play into factors. So Christmas coming up. All right, we had this price manipulation here that caused a huge spike, and then a possible shoulder pattern, head, shoulder should have come down, did not. Again, price manipulation by the ETF buy-ins. This is changing the way Bitcoin acts. Normally what I would anticipate is for Bitcoin to come down for this level right in here. Now we do have this strong trend line here, but most likely since it's a parabolic line, it would have blown below it, rechecked here, and then we would have had a huge wick pullback. So what I mean by that, wick pullbacks are going to look like this here. This is your wick. It could be on the bottom or the top of the candle. And then this is the base or core of your wick. Now we won't get into the hollow versus solid theory, okay? But that has to do with where it starts and stops on the candle. You can have a lot of what's going on here in these, and these are really good examples of what happened per week. So the more these candles draw back toward the bottom, okay, or on a red candle pull down, the more bearish it becomes. So it curled over, but then the sentiment started to move and switch towards the top of the candle, which eventually created this candle here, and it signaled an institutional buy-in, which spiked here. which I know I had talked to you guys before, but that again, we're on the daily, that's one day. There's the other 12 hours, but I can actually measure that. So if they got in low and somewhere around the top of the market, it took one day at 7%, $7,500 per Bitcoin that they owned. So that was a good chunk of change that they earned there in that single day. And if they shorted it on the way back down, then we include some of the wick. Okay. A little footage. Okay, I have the magnet turned on, and that's why it keeps doing that. So I will do that again. So they could have made an easy 8.5% at $9,000 right there on that. So in total, they make the 7 on the way up, they make the 9 on the way back down, 16 grand per in basically 24 hours per Bitcoin that they owned. So again, we had this huge base here. You would think this would be negative for the most part, but what this is actually showing is potential to the upside. Now I'll tell you why, because these candles mean a lot when they're placed side by side. It's like a couple seeing just me at work. Okay, I react one way, but then if you see me say at a house party or something with my wife, a totally different way. Or if you come to my house and there's no party and it's just me and my wife again. So this is a party. Okay, we've got a party going on here. Bitcoin's on the rise. It's a party. So you need to look at these candles both individually and by themselves. But for the most part, you're going to look at them as a group. So what you have here is you have a whole bunch of started out down here. Okay, this candle closed, this one opened at the base of the green candle. Okay, and then it rose all the way up here and then had some pullback. And then that's what creates this core of the candle. Okay, opened, came down a little bit, and then it rose all the way up here, and then it pulled back and stopped here. And then the next candle opened, it went down a little bit, it went up a little bit, and stayed pretty much in the middle. That's a neutral candle. That's saying uncertainty. What should have happened on a bullish trend is this candle would have come up and filled from the top of the candle to the bottom of the candle. And that would have been a good bullish momentum. What's a good example? Well, we can use this over here as a good example. This red candle here had a nice wick at the bottom. It had less wick at the top, so there's more opportunity for downward momentum. So it opens right about here at the bottom, comes all the way down, pulls back, and closes here. So that is what we are looking at for how candles work side by side. All right, obviously wick here, didn't fill it, that's uncertainty. Went all the way up, came all the way back down. The baseline was basically towards the bottom of the candle. We got a little bit of opportunity for some short here, guys. Let's short this thing and see what happens. Candle's uncertain, but there really wasn't a lot of upside push. All right, keep pushing down, guys. Shorts start playing in, shorts start playing in. They get a little scared, but they play it anyhow, and they make some money. Again, and then because shorting is weak, somebody said, let's buy in. Boom. All right, now let's play this whole range with the shorts. All right. Again, when markets are neutral or uncertainty, you get big hands in there and they will try to play that to their advantage. So here's what I see right now. All right. I see on the daily. All right. You guys all might like this. I see on the daily a shoulder and a shoulder, a higher shoulder, and a head. This is called a head and shoulders pattern, which is going to indicate normally downward motion. But when it doesn't break below the neckline, when it doesn't come back down below the neckline, it becomes bullish. Okay? But here's where it gets tricky. It becomes bullish because it's trying to decide where it wants to go. We're looking for trend lines again. You're going to look right in here. If it doesn't break above that, it's going to come back down and test again until it figures out where the crap it wants to go. All right, get rid of all that crap. So, again, I don't know the names of these candles. They actually do have names. Like they have like the hammer candle. They have the doji candle. All these sort of different terms to indicate what an actual candle is supposed to mean. I look at them from a dummy's aspect because nobody's ever really been my mentor or taught me. But so I look at it from a visual, statistical analytics standpoint. So like right now, I see a trend line that I probably should have marked down, but I've already got so much going on here that I'll probably try to find a trend line to just move. So since all of this in here is sort of already passed and dissipated, I'll just zoom in like on the 30-minute, and I'll go back and find these trend lines and delete them. No, not right now. Alright, so I'm going to leave this one here. If I can get a hold of it. There we go. Because I feel like it's still relevant with what could happen and come down the line. And these lines are being stubborn. Anyhow, it wants me to move on and stop chatter one. Alright, now we'll go back to, say, 2 hourly. Alright, so the other trend line I saw here that I don't have marked down, we'll just give a good example. Okay, we'll do array because it's a very long trend line. Give or take. Because you do break below trend lines sometimes to retest things. And then if you come back up again above them, they become stronger supports or stronger resistances. Resistance is when something tries to break to the upside and then it pulls back down below it. So let's look for an upper trend as our, sure. This would be considered resistance, and the lower line would be considered our support. So let's change this color to something you guys can easily identify. I don't have a lot of purple, so we'll use purple. There we go. Light purple is going to be our support. Dark purple is going to be our resistance to upward movement. Now, what do I I see in all this? I see that this one, actually, now that I'm zoomed in a little bit better, could come down, and that's a little bit more accurate because we have our breaks to the upside, but then it comes back down below it and plays inside the lines for a while, comes down and peeks its head out, got very little momentum towards the bottom, a little bit more volatility up here towards the top, breaks above it, comes back down, plays within the lines. So this is actually pretty important. To thin that line up. So what do I see here? Let me just get rid of that one for right now because I don't really feel like it's playing a good part. And what's going on here? Same here. Alright, so I've cleaned it up a little bit. Now you can see what's going on. I use these trend lines to try to figure out what it's going to do next. So you have these candles that you can read. Okay, you can try to figure out what's going on. Okay, got a lot of whole green candles with big red ones right after. Whole green candles. Okay, so we should see it break above this mark, or we're going to come back down. So when we do that and we see interplay, you can find with these lines what it might do. So chances are it's going to come up, hit this trend line, and you feel some resistance. Since we've resisted at the same level every single time, it may spill back down into this zone here, which could be a possible buy zone. And since we observe this trend line a lot, what we could really see for the overall market, which is what I was hoping to get at. I know this video is getting a little long, but what I could see for the market is we come up, we don't break above it, we come back down because we've created an M pattern. Okay, come back down into here. And then that's going to play out the next few weeks. Okay, if I go back to the daily, I'll zoom in. Okay. So basically, you're going to walk around in here for a while. If we do break below it at any point, if we do break below this line, I see no more pullback. And then upward momentum between the holidays till Inauguration Day. So this could get a little lower with some more buy opportunities, especially since what we're looking at here is some very same thing that happened back here. Don't have a lot of upward momentum. Okay, we did fill this one a little bit, but now we're barely filling it. So we're probably going to spill over and come down in here somewhere. But that doesn't mean that the altcoins are going to do the same thing because Bitcoin keeps losing its dominance. So, just understanding, doing a little bit of charting today, a little bit of, hey, look at your candles. You can pull up candles, I believe, on Coinbase, but I think you have to be in the advanced package. If you do the advanced package, just remember it's a fee and it's a monthly, and it's not really worth it if you don't have a large amount invested. Now, Webull, you can open an account and use the charts and only put like 20 bucks in it, and leave it there. Maybe buy some ETFs since it's got stocks on it for Bitcoin or Ethereum. And then you can see these charts and you can do this style stuff and play around with it and get to know with it. All right. So the next